Ah, the early 2000s, where there was nothing but Cinnamon Toast Crunch ads everywhere. The animals were awesome. Gorillaz was all over MTV.
Come on in.
Disney did not own Marvel, Lucasfilms, or 20th Century Fox. Chuck E. Cheese was still 2D animated, and Pop-Tarts were
Crazy good.
Everyone was quoting the first Shrek movie. Yoda was doing backflips, which was unheard of at the time, but it still looked cool. And I fell in love with Spirited Away. But what about the world of gaming? Well, Microsoft's Xbox was making its first debut. Sony's PlayStation was getting an upgrade in the PS2, and the Nintendo 64 was becoming the GameCube. I was more excited for the GameCube because, well, Nintendo, they've been there since my childhood, since the very first NES, but it was more than just that. You see, because this is around 2001, and with the launch of the GameCube, what software do you think launched with that hardware?
Entertaining. Oh, yeah.
That's right, Super Smash Bros. Melee! But you gotta think about it from the point of view from the average kid that thrived from the video game scene 2 decades ago. After all, we just got off of
me and you and me, no matter how they toss it.
There was also a thing called Game Informer magazine. And when we saw the comparison from the new GameCube graphics versus the N64, it was earth-shattering. There was no contest at all. Melee was the superior game in both design and graphics. So growing up, I lived with 2 brothers, a little brother and a big brother. And after having loads of fun playing the first Super Smash Bros., it was only natural for us to get the latest installment. And we played the crap out of it.
Super Smash Brothers Melee!
Now, we may not have found all the technical glitches like wave dashes and L canceling, but we got real good real fast. However, outside of the 3 of us, there was no one we could test our skills on. It's like a boxer with no opponent.
Like a master surgeon without a patient.
Or a grill without a burger.
But then something amazing happened that would change my life forever.
Enter the Center, the new Pokemon Center in New York City. Watch out for the world's largest action Pokeball. Catch a rare Pokemon on your Game Boy cartridge. Poke out on N64 and GameCube. Master up with the Ultra Pokédex. Collect Pokemon Mini and other exclusive Pokemon merchandise, or go to PokemonCenter.com. The Pokemon Center at Rockefeller Center. Enter the Center.
This was the place to be, man. This was Pokemon heaven. Trade Pokemon, you get to battle. This was the place to be if you wanted to roll with the cool crowd. I would hang out here every weekend and bring my Pokemon Silver and battle other trainers. Those were some fun times. But even though I was pretty good in Pokemon, I still was trying to find someone good in Smash Brothers. But then, one day, it happened. The full moon was aligned with the planets or something. Because we didn't have Twitter, TikTok, or Facebook, I got word of mouth from another trainer that said, "Hey man, there's gonna be a Super Smash Bros. Tournament next weekend."
And now, without further ado, we continue part 2, the tournament.
So after hearing that there was going to be a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament in 1 week, I jetted back home and told my bros about it. Me and my little brother, we were excited. But not my big brother, can I say. He's not the competitive type. So I marked down the date on the calendar, and just to make doubly sure that me and my little brother were ready, we started doing some intense training before the big event. Then the day came. We were scoping out the competition, and we noticed that there were a lot of foxes and falcos and sheiks. And in my mind, I was thinking, yes! Yes! You see, back then I made Mario, and Mario does pretty good against heavy characters. And you gotta remember, this was back in 2003, so there was none of if you actually have recorded video of yourself doing that back then, share me a link down below. I'm actually curious. Anywho, when we got to the Pokemon Center, I signed us up for the tourney. And then the judge called my name. I gotta admit, I was feeling a little bit nervous, as it was my first time I'm about to test my skills against another Smasher. But at the same time, it's kind of exciting.
As grim as things look right now, I kinda like the challenge.
So I picked up my controller and we began competing. Thanks to my big bro who made Sheik at the time, I was easily able to capitalize my first win ever. Next, the judge called my little brother to play. At the time, he made Luigi, you know, cause we were the Mario brothers. Get it? Cause we're cut it. I cheered him on the sideline, and at first I thought he was going to lose because I saw he did 2 SDs. And I was like, oh no! But thanks to our hard, intense training, he was actually able to secure the win. I've never been more proud of my little brother. Round 2 is coming your way. Better get ready to fight. Better get ready to play. The judge called me against a Pikachu player. I picked up my controller and yeah, I won hands down. My little brother also won his next match as well. Then came along Calvin. Boy, I tell you, he was the most sarcastic, cockiest, egotistical person I ever met. He was like, you use Mario. Mario's trash, man. You're gonna go down, man. I could beat any Mario. You're gonna go down, man. You're gonna go so down, it's not even funny. Yeah, I too stalked him.
Just moving like crazy right now. Fireball down smash. You know he doesn't. He's not.
And just like that, I was in the finals. And then I was waiting to see who my last opponent will be before I can get that sweet, juicy, golden Pokemon jersey. Hey there, if this is your first time looking at my channel, you should definitely check out the previous 2 cartoons I did. But just to keep you up to speed, this was a tournament that was held in 2003 back at the Nintendo New York store, except in 2003 it was called the Pokemon Center of New York. If you're curious to know more about that time period, you should definitely check out a YouTuber called Shinelby Reviews. She did a whole 15-minute video explaining the rise and fall of the store. I found it very informative. So after 100 competitors that played the Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament in the Pokemon Center, it was down to me and my little brother.
It is down to you and it is down to me.
So onward to the finals. Get it? Because in that movie they're both brothers and we're brothers. The referee placed us next to each other and told the crowd that this will be the final set of the tournament. And the winner will receive the golden Pokemon jersey. It was getting close to closing time, so unfortunately he said it was only going to be a one-game match. I know, right? It's like, you know, it's not what the tournament rules are for today, where you win like a best 3 out of 5 or something. So we picked up our controllers, we gave a fist bump to each other. I used Mario, and my little brother, he used Luigi. I took out a stock from him. He took out a stock from me. Then I take out a stock from him. He takes out a stock from me. It was neck and neck. And then we were getting down to the wire. All of a sudden, he SD'd.
No Johns.
So I won the very first Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament held at the Pokemon Center in New York City. And I received the golden legendary Pokemon jersey. And that's how I became... I know since this was back in 2003, I'm sorry, but I couldn't document my experience with, say, a live stream or record matches on video and upload them, or even take a snapshot. The only proof that I have of this is the jersey itself, which still hangs on my wall to this very day. Wow, what a journey it's been from my past days playing Melee. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you should definitely check out my previous cartoon videos. So, what happened after I won the tournament? Well, you know what's funny? The very next week, the Pokemon Center was going to have another Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament. And this was back in 2003, so back then, it was called the Pokemon Center, not the Nintendo Store of New York. So when I heard this again, I was already like... However, as a Smash champion, this time I wanted to go a little easy on my opponents.
I'm going to duel him left-handed. If I use my right, over too quickly.
So I decided to use my secondary at the time, which was... What's ironic is I had to play against the same Pikachu player that I defeated in last week's tournament, except this time...
No Johns.
I lost, and from that moment on, I vowed to use Ness
never again.
Also back then, they only ran single elimination tournaments. So by default, I was...
Knockout!
But instead of leaving after the tournament, I decided to
stick around.
I wanted to see who would be the new champion. So that way, afterwards, I could challenge them into a friendly. Except this time, I would use my main Smash character. And by the end in the finals, the champion was... I was like, really? I play this kid all the time every day. But still, I congratulated my little brother. This pretty much wrapped up the Pokemon Center holding Super Smash Bros. Melee tournaments. Because after this, they never held another one ever again. And thus, that ends my story.
Oh, don't! I don't care!